Okay, I've divided up the material that the sluice caught more or less evenly between these two beakers, probably not exactly evenly. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with the oversized stuff. I'm going to put in some distilled water. Got to open up another jug. And then start adding some nitric acid to it. Let's see, about the same amount of both. And I'm expecting a pretty vigorous reaction here because there's a lot of metal in both these beakers, just like there was in the oversized stuff. And this is probably going to take quite a while for all of the metal. Wow, look at that instant reaction over there. It's going to take quite a while for all the metal to be digested, just like it did with the oversized stuff. And lots of additions of acid, I'm sure. But I'm a little more confident now that I saw gold in the oversized stuff. I don't really feel like I'm wasting my time. I suspect there's going to be gold in these, probably even more gold in the oversized stuff. Hoping so anyway. So anyway, it's just like before. This is going to take a while. It's already afternoon, early afternoon, so I'm sure this won't be done until tomorrow anyway, at the earliest. So I'm going to take a few more additions of acid. May have to decant off the liquid at some point or other and start over, but I'll let it go. I just did the third edition of acid on these two beakers, and it's going good, Probably get one or two more in today before calling it for the day. I'll probably just leave them on low heat overnight and pick it up again tomorrow. Well, it's the next day. I left these on low heat overnight. Got up this morning, came out here, turned the heat up on them and put a shot of nitric acid in both and gave them a thorough stir. And really saw no reaction at all out of the one on the left. I think it is done. The one on the right got a little bit of bubbling still going on, little bit of fume production, nothing serious. I think it is about done too. So I'm going to let this go for a little while longer and then decant off the liquid in them, give the mud in the bottom. You know what I might do? Depending on how much mud there is in the bottom of these, I may combine them into one beaker before I do the Aqua Regia on them. We'll see. We'll see how much mud's in the bottom of them. Too much mud makes it hard for the Aqua Regia to interact with the stuff in there, so we'll see. But I'm just going to let this go for a little while longer. It's almost done. Okay, so it's been a little while. Had to run some errands, had some lunch, came back. I'm calling it done. I'm not really seeing any activity in either beaker anymore. Now the occasional bubble in this one, but it may just be boiling. So I'm going to decant off the liquid and we'll see what we got left. Okay, it looks like we've got a storm rolling in. Early afternoon, summer in Florida, typical. Alright, just what we need, more rain. I'm going to dump this liquid with all the metal salts in it, the base metal salts, off into this old pitcher. Sooner or later I'm going to have to filter this liquid and the liquid I got off of the oversized stuff and see if I can cement some silver out of it. That'd be nice. Give it a little bit of a rinse here. Get some of the blue color out of it. Definitely gonna have to filter it because there's a lot of sediment here. Okay, finally, I see gold. I don't know if it's going to show up. Let me see. Look through the viewfinder while I hold this up here. Probably not. There's a band of gold right in there. Let's see if I can get a focus on it. Okay, so we got gold. Yay! Excellent. How much material's in the bottom of this beaker. I may end up just combining them. Wow, that's a lot of liquid there. Hope I get a lot of silver out of it. But you know, after the fiasco of trying to get silver out of Nick's chips, I'm always a little gun shy when it comes to recovering the silver. Hopefully, it'll happen without drama. Let me see if I see gold in this one. I'll slosh it around a little bit. The gold will settle to this lower corner of the beaker right here. Of course, everything's out of focus. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, there's gold in there. There's gold in there. Nice band of gold right there. Cool. Excellent. Alright. Alright, so that's good. I see gold in both beakers now. Fine. That's nice. I haven't been wasting my time. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a little bit more rinsing. A little more distilled water, rinse some of the blue color out. And then I'm going to combine these two into one beaker and we'll hit it with some Aqua Regia. And the rain is starting. Hopefully, once I get to the Aqua Regia, I'll show you that. Hopefully it won't be so loud that you won't be able to hear anything. Well, fortunately, the rain seems to have stopped, at least for the moment, so don't have to shout over the water hitting the roof. Adding some uriatic acid to it. I have combined the contents of the two beakers. Oops. That back on. I think there's just slightly less than too much in this beaker to handle all at once. So we're going to do it all in one beaker. Let me put some nitric acid in there. Now I rinsed and rinsed and rinsed, but I didn't get quite all of the color out of the liquid in there. So this is going to be kind of a dirty gold drop. That's about 4 milliliters. Actually, I think altogether I put in about 8. I kind of lost count there. I'll have to look at the video and see. I always put in more. I'm a little worried that there's probably some unreacted base metal in there, and that'll chew up the nitric acid first before the gold starts going into solution. So I'm putting in some extra, and I can put in some more later. Let me get the heat on. I'm not too worried about over nitricking it. I will denox it before we try and drop the gold. I've also got to denox that stuff back there from the oversized fraction. I never denoxed it. So what I'll probably do is combine the two and denox them together later. Then dilute, filter, then drop the gold. But first I got to get the gold in solution. So wait for this to warm up. Although, hey, there's some bubbling going on already. Good. Like the reaction's starting. I'm hoping there's a fair amount of gold in there. I can see it, but it's always deceiving. I'm hoping there's a lot though. We'll see. Okay, while the Aqua Regia is warming up in the fume hood, I'm gonna denox this liquid here that came off of the nitric acid treatments of the material. So I want to get silver out of it, but for that I got to neutralize the nitric acid, and I'm going to use urea. Now I don't normally use urea for denoxing my Aqua Regia. I use sulfamic acid because sulfamic acid will react with nitric acid and create sulfuric acid. Plus, I don't really want to create too much urea nitrate, which is an explosive. But for this particular process, I don't want to create any sulfuric acid because it will react with the silver nitrate in here and make silver sulfate, which is very low solubility, and then a lot of the silver will come crashing out of solutions. I don't want that. So I'm going to use urea here, and I'm going to give both of these a fairly healthy dose of it. Oh yeah, there's some active nitric acid in there. This one's bubbling and fuming already. Probably going to take, yeah, there goes that one. So they're both reacting. Probably going to take a few spoonfuls of urea to get them neutralized. Now when I don't see any more reaction, I'll get my filtration setup out, and you can see the prills floating in there and the bubbles they're making. When I see no more reaction and the acid's all neutralized, I'll get my filtration setup out and I'll start filtering this liquid so I can cement out the silver on some copper. I'll show you that when it happens. Okay, time to filter this stuff. I think it's pretty well denoxed. A lot of urea. Start with this one. And what I'll do is, after I get this stuff all filtered through, I'll just clean this beaker and pour it, whoops, right back in it. Oh, I'm making a mess. Glad I remembered to put my gloves on. Clean up the bench again. Oh, this is going to take a little while, get this all filtered. And once I get this one filtered, like I said, I'll clean the beaker, dump this stuff back in it, get a coil of copper in it, and then I'll filter this and get it another beaker with some more copper, and we'll see how much silver we can get out of these chips along with whatever gold we get out of them. Nice color, by the way. Pretty. Okay, I got the first batch of liquid filtered, the first 2 liters worth. I got a feeling this is a little more than 2 liters, so may have a little bit extra. I just set aside till the next time I have some liquid to extract silver from. We'll see. So I'm going to start filtering this next batch of liquid. Tell you what, the first batch came out really nice. It's super clear. Hoping to get some good silver out of it. Hoping to get a lot of silver out of it, but I'll take whatever I can get. And it's going to take a while to filter this batch again. Meanwhile, in the fume hood, this stuff's bubbling away. Get a little bit of fuming going on. And the storm is back. So, oh well, more rain. But at least I'm under a roof. Okay, I hope you can hear me over the rain. I was trying to filter this stuff, and the filtration just ground to a halt. And so I poured what was in the funnel back into here, and it's full of crystals. And I don't know what these crystals are, but they completely block the holes in the filter. I don't know what this stuff is. Now this is the stuff that I poured off of the 2 beakers that I had treated with nitric acid. This is the stuff that was caught by the sluice. It just could be that it's so rich in metal salts that as it's cooling down, crystals are forming. I don't know. That's a thought. Because this was hot when I decanted it off. It's cooling off. And it's got all these crystals in it. So what I think I'm gonna do... Well, actually, I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. I suppose if I just let it sit here, it's gonna continue to cool. More crystals will grow. They could be crystals of silver nitrate, for all I know. I don't know. What I'm probably going to have to do is dilute this stuff enough to get the whatever that is to go back into solution. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it for now because it's pouring down rain. It's getting late. So I think I'm going to leave this here for now. I'll get a coil of copper in this stuff back here, and we'll get some copper cementing out overnight. And then tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, I've got some errands I need to work on tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow I'll come back to this and see what, if anything, I can do with it. Because I can't filter it as it is. The crystals just completely clog up the filter. Alright. Let me rearrange some stuff and show you what's going on. Recovering the silver lately has really been my nemesis, I swear. Okay. So this stuff's still cooking away. I'm going to leave it cooking. It's doing good. I may leave it overnight on low heat to make sure all the gold gets dissolved into solution. Man, it's coming down in buckets right now. But here's the liquid I have managed to filter. Here's some copper wire. Stick it in there. And we'll just let that go and see what happens. Probably leave it overnight. And see what we got in the morning. And as soon as this lets up a little bit, I'm going to sprint for the house. Well, it's been a few hours. The rain has stopped. Before I bumped this, there were a lot of stalactites and stalagmites of cement silver hanging off the coil. Now most of it's fallen to the bottom. But, okay, so we got some good silver cementation going on. That's good. I'm liking that. But we got some weirdness going on over here. I really don't know what's going on with this. Since it's cooled down, it looks like it's solid crystals down here. And there's lots of crystals up on top. Really thick. I don't know what they are. I could guess, but I don't know what my guesses are worth. Silver nitrate, maybe. I'm hoping. I kind of doubt there's that much silver in there. The crystals seem light colored. I think they just seem blue because of the blue liquid they're floating on. I think the crystals are actually clear. So I don't know. I mean, silver nitrate would be clear. Copper nitrate, which I know is in here, it's the blue stuff, those would be blue crystals. So I don't know what else is in here. I really don't. But I'm going to leave this till tomorrow and see. What I'll probably do is just see if I can separate out some of those crystals, dissolve them in some distilled water, and then see if I can figure out what they are. I don't know. Then as for this stuff, still got a bit of a reaction going on. I think there's just a lot of boiling here. I'm going to turn this down to low heat and just let it marinate overnight. I like to leave it on low heat, so again, we don't have this kind of problem over here. Whereas it cools off, the thing fills up with crystals that form. So I like to leave it on low heat because sometimes this gets too cool, crystallizes. But first, I'm going to do a stannous chloride test and make sure we're getting the gold in solution. I'm pretty sure we must be, because number one, I saw gold in there, a fair amount of it. And number two, I'm sure I put an excess of nitric acid in there. I put the amount in you saw me put in to begin with, and then when the rain was hammering down just before I bolted for the house, I put a little bit more in just to make sure there was enough, because I didn't know how long I was going to be in there. You know, could have been the rest of the night. So just wanted to make sure there was an excess of nitric acid in there to make sure all of the gold goes into solution. So let's do a stannous chloride test and see what we got. Okay, here we go. Let me get a little bit of the stuff in the fume hood in a pipette. Well, it's the right color. I'll give it that. In spite of it still being a little blue when I started. Get a little bit of stannous chloride solution. Oh, nice. Look at that. All right. I'm a happy camper. All right. I can shut this down for the night well turn it down to low for the night, and be certain I'll be getting gold in the morning. So that's great. So I'm just going to, like I said, turn it down to low, leave it till tomorrow. Should be ready to try and get the gold tomorrow. We should have some cement silver up here in this other beaker tomorrow. And of course I may let that go for a few days. And then I got to figure out what to do with that stuff. I don't know. May not be worth doing anything with, but you know, my curiosity is up now. I got to figure out what's going on with it. What are those crystals? Why is silver such a pain in the butt? The gold's easy to get by comparison. All right, I'll see you in the morning. All right, well, it is the next day. In fact, it's the afternoon of the next day because I got really busy this morning with lots of stuff. This has just been sitting here. It's ready. I think I'm going to combine it with the stuff from the oversized fraction and denox it here in a little bit, and then filter it and see if we can drop the gold. Get that done today. Because I've jiggled things, most of the silver has fallen off the coil down to the bottom. You can see some more falling down in there probably. Yeah. So I'll probably just let that sit for a little while longer and see if any more silver accumulates, because sometimes it takes a couple of days for it to finish doing that. This stuff over here, I still haven't quite figured out what to do with it. I've got some ideas, but I'm going to let it sit for now, because I've been busy. Into the scrap pickup today, and I've been busy just sorting stuff. I mean, the truck is, yeah, you probably can't see it because it's dark back there. The truck is full of stuff. Anybody need a docking station for a Dell or a Lenovo? I got about 5,000 of them right now, and about as many laptop power supplies. So anyway, I'm going to work on this over here in parallel with unloading this over here. So there'll be a lot of back and forth. Let me get the camera up on the tripod and get to work. Alrighty, let's get this stuff combined. This is still warm. It's been on warm heat all night and all day, pretty much. I want to combine this. Whew, a bit whiffy. There we go. This is the stuff that came off of the oversized material. They both have gold in them. I want to get it all together and get it denoxed. All that wonderful yellow goodness out of there. Clean that beaker later. Get together some of my usual saturated solution of sulfamic acid to denox this. Okay, time to take a break from sorting all that stuff and get this denoxed. Hopefully this is enough to do the job. If not, I'll mix up a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, if there's a little bit of a reaction. I mean, not too bad. Okay. I think we're good. The rest of that sulfamic acid out of there. Oops. Stir into the mud down here. Yeah, it's kind of a sickly green color. Obviously didn't get all the base metal out of it before doing the aqua regia, but I was expecting this would be a dirty gold drop. Okay. I need to let this cool off, and then we'll filter it and see if we can drop the gold. I'm not going to add ice to it because there's almost 2 liters of material here. Adding ice will bring it up to 2 liters. There won't be enough room for rinse water in my beaker. So hopefully this won't prove to be a problem. But we're going to give it a try. Going without ice. Okay, time to get on with this. I've been spending way too much time messing around with that load of scrap I picked up today, sorting it out, what's going to the scrap yard tomorrow, what's staying here and getting torn apart, and whatnot. So, but I need to get this done so we can get it, get the gold dropped and see what we got by tomorrow morning. So, let me get this going. Let me get this filtration going. A lot of liquid here. This may take a little while, especially once the filter starts getting clogged. Yeah, it's going to be a little green, it looks like. Oh well. As long as I get some yellow gold out of it, I'll be happy. Okay, like I said, this is going to take a little while. Back when it's done. And I gotta wipe a little drip off the side of that. Okay, that took a little while because the filter's starting to get plugged up. I'm going to dump all of this solid stuff into the filter too now that I've got the liquid through. And let the vacuum suck the gold-bearing liquid out of it. Rinse it really good and rinse the color out of the filter, and just let the vacuum pull all the liquid out of this and down into the beaker down there. Distribute this a little better, more evenly. I have found that this actually works pretty darn well. This paper that I was using to wipe up the dribbles off of this beaker, this is going in with my filter storage, my gold filter storage. Okay, so I'm just going to keep washing this until I see no more color in the filter up here and the liquid's coming through clear. It's still coming through pretty yellow-green right now. So I got a lot of washing to do. This is why I needed to make room for rinse water. Okay, we'll be back when this is done. I'm going to clean this beaker, and when we're done, I'm going to put this liquid back in it and we'll drop the gold. Okay, I went off and did some stuff, left this running. The vacuum has pulled the moisture out of this. It's like almost dry sand in here. Got all the color out of the filter. We're up to almost, a little over 2 liters, so I'm glad I saved some space for some rinse water. But it's looking pretty good, fairly clear. And this stuff here I can just discard. It's basically sand. So let me dump this in this beaker and put the beaker in the fume hood, and we'll drop the gold. Okay, finally it's time to drop the gold. Let me get the fume hood going. I don't want to smell the sulfur dioxide gas that's about to be created when I add Stump Out to this liquid. Stump Out by Bonide contains sodium metabisulfite, which is what we need to drop the gold. There are other brands of stump remover out on the market, but they don't contain sodium metabisulfite. Bonide does. wash some of this down that I got up on the edge. One more spoonful and I will let it sit and we'll see what happens. That's a lot of sodium metabisulfite in there. Ought to be enough. If I don't see a color change in the liquid in a reasonable amount of time, I'll put some more in. But just gonna let it sit and we'll see what happens. To my eye, it's looking quite a bit darker. Let me see if anything's fallen out of solution. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's a film of gold on the bottom of the beaker. So it's working. Alright. Just gonna leave it sit and we'll see how much gold we got in the bottom of the beaker tomorrow. Okay, it's probably been less than half an hour, but the gold is settling right out of solution. There's quite a nice little layer of it on the bottom of the beaker. But I'm still going to let it go till tomorrow just to make sure everything settles out. And besides, I'm tired. It's been a rough day. Moved a literal ton of stuff. My back's sore. I'm going to go in a house where it's cool and rest for a while. We'll tackle this in the morning. Well, it's the next morning. There's a pretty good layer of gold on the bottom of this beaker. Looks like a lot. Hard to say if it really is or not, but it looks like a lot. Interestingly, though, the bulk of the liquid has turned brownish. I mean, it's still a little green at the top, but it's brown down towards the bottom. So there's some weird chemistry going on in there. Not sure what's happening. Not really liking the looks of the gold. Like I said, there's a lot of it. It's settled out reasonably quick, but it looks kind of dirty. It doesn't really have that nice, you know, sort of brick red color to it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to siphon off the bulk of the liquid as I usually do. And I think I'm just going to capture what gold is in here on a filter and re-refine it. Just so it looks a little better. Because it just doesn't look all that great to me. And this was a very dirty solution, as you can tell by the color. As often happens with dropping gold out of a solution of digested IC chips, it's dirty. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's stuff in there I don't even know what it is. So we're going to clean this up again before I put it in my gold stockpile. So let me get set up for that. Oh, and one more thing. This beaker up here, I'm pretty sure that the cementation of the silver is done. There's really not very much in there on the bottom of the it's hard to see from this angle, I know. There's really not much in there. What I think I'm going to do is, if I can manage to filter the weird crystals out of that stuff over there, what I will do is I will decant off the liquid in here and pour the filtered liquid in here and see if I can get any more silver to cement out. As it is, it's probably less than a gram. I don't know. Not a lot. Okay, let me get set up for siphoning. Okay, as per usual, I'm going to siphon into this container here, which is sort of a temporary stock pot. The liquid can hang out in here for a while. And any fine gold in the liquid, or any gold I suck up while siphoning, or any gold that wants to drop out of solution, it can do that in this container before I dump the liquid in this container into the stock pot. I actually cleared the gold out of the bottom of this container a while ago, and it's starting to build up again. So it's definitely a worthwhile thing, because it's a lot easier to get the fine gold out of the bottom of this container than it is out of the bottom of my stock pot with all the crud in there. Some year though, I'm going to have to do the stock pot. Not looking forward to it. Looking forward to the gold I'll get. Not looking forward to how difficult it will be to get it. That and my filters. My goodness, the filters are piling up. Gonna have to do them at some point. I'll speed this up or cut to the end. Alright, that's close enough. I don't want to wind up sucking up any more gold than what little bit is necessary. But if I did suck up any, it's in here, it'll be easy to get back. Right. Look at this stuff. I mean, it looks like a fair amount. I just don't like the color. No, actually, the color doesn't look that bad. Now that I've drawn off all that brownish, greenish liquid, the color doesn't look all that bad. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and re-refine it. What the heck. Well, I don't think I need to bother getting the full-blown vacuum filtration system out for just this little bit of stuff here. It takes a couple minutes to go through the filter. It takes a couple minutes to go through the filter. We'll just gravity filter it here. Catch all the gold in here on the filter. Stick the filter in a beaker and re-refine the gold. There's a fair little bit here. Now there's always a little bit of super fine gold that sticks to the inside of the beaker when you drop gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a clean piece of paper towel. I'm going to wipe down the inside of the beaker. It'll have brown stain on it, which is fine gold. That paper towel will go in with my filters. I'll show you what I mean. Going to wipe down the whole inside of the beaker, the bottom, the walls. Not too bad. A little bit of a brown stain there. I've seen it where it's a lot worse, so that's not too bad. But I'll just cut off this piece of paper and throw it in with my filters. Gonna rinse this stuff a little bit with distilled water. See if I can get some of this green, brown, nasty stuff out of it before I redissolve it. So I'll probably rinse it a couple of times, then pull the filter out of here and put it in a smaller beaker than it came from, and redissolve it in Aqua Regia. I'll show you that when it happens. Okay, I've rinsed this quite a few times. The rinse water's coming off clean. Nice color now to it. I'm going to put it down in here. And I'm going to put this in the fume hood and redissolve it. There's our gold. Let me make some Aqua Regia. The fume hood going. A little bit of muriatic acid. Really just a couple hundred milliliters I think is all we're going to need. We're right about the 200 milliliter mark. Okay. Now get a little bit of nitric acid on it. Shouldn't take too much. There's about 2 milliliters. About 2 more milliliters, minus a couple errant drops. And there's about 1 more milliliter. So we'll call that 5 milliliters and see how that does. If Needs more, I'll put more on, but I don't want to over nitricate at this point. Let me get the heat on low. And we'll just let it cook and see what happens. Alright, it's been a few minutes. The liquid's starting to turn color. Got some bubbling going on in there. I mean, it's hardly even had a chance to get warm. So, the AquaReach is working. That's good. And while this is going on, I'm setting up to filter the liquid that's full of crystals and see if I can clean it up. Let's see what I can do with this mess here. Now, I was looking at this stuff really close last night, and I came to a couple conclusions. I think there's two different types of crystals in here. There's a type that's floating, and there's a type that formed it down at the bottom. And I don't think they're the same crystals, even though they look similar. They're both kind of either clear or off-white, because I stirred it really good. And the floaty crystals floated right back to the top, and the ones on the bottom stayed on the bottom. So I think there's a density difference there between them. And this liquid is really dense itself. It's got a lot of dissolved salt in it, mostly copper. So I can see how something could be dense enough to want to float in it, or light enough to want to float in it. So I think I got a couple of different crystalline species in here. Don't know what they are. Right now the liquid's passing through pretty quickly, but I expect the filter will get plugged up real quick with the crystals and it'll slow down. But what I'm hoping is I can get the bulk of the liquid through, leave the crystals and the mud down here at the bottom of the beaker behind, and we'll see if we can get any silver out of this. So this is going to take a while. Be back when it's done. Yeah, filtration on this stuff has just become painfully slow, but I was expecting that. I knew the crystals would clog it up. It happened the other day, but this time I've prepared for it. It's not late in the afternoon, going on nighttime. I've got the time. It can just drip. What I'll probably do is once all the liquid's out of here, I'll probably put a fresh filter in and start over, because boy, it's really gotten slow. But I'll let it take however long it needs to take. Now over here, we're going gangbusters. Look at the color of that liquid. And we got some good bubbling going on. What I am going to do before I forget is I'm going to put a milliliter or so of sulfuric acid in there, concentrated sulfuric acid, just in case there's any lead in there. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised. This stuff came from IC chips. There could be lead solder tinned on the legs. Although these are fairly new IC chips and they were never soldered in, so there's probably not any lead there, but hey, it's always a good procedure just to make sure that you don't wind up with some lead contaminating your gold. The lead will precipitate out as insoluble lead sulfate once I dilute and cool this liquid, which will happen after all the gold goes into solution, which it's going right along. Okay, I took a break for lunch, came back. It's all in solution. Looks like even the paper pulp, for the most part, from the filter is mostly gone into solution. Anyway, I'm going to take this off the heat, put it over here, turn the heat off. Okay, so I've got some ice here. I'm going to ice it down. So that's going to cool and dilute it. And then once the ice melts, we'll be ready to drop the gold. And I'll bet we'll get a much better looking gold drop this time. Meanwhile, this is all filtered. Finally made it all through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump that liquid into This beaker over here that has the coil of wire in it, I decanted off most of the spent liquid from it. And gonna pour this in, see if we can get any more silver to cement out on the copper. Okay, the ice has all melted. This is cold, it's diluted. Since I've already got the vacuum filtration setup out, I might as well use it on this. Need to do this quick because it's starting to cloud up and get dark. And you know what that means in Florida. The afternoon thunderstorms are probably on their way. I want to get this stuff filtered, get it back in the fume hood, and get the gold dropping. Slippery because it's wet with condensation. I better use both hands. Wouldn't want to spill this. There's a lot of gold in it. Alright, so gonna finish filtering this, clean this beaker, dump the liquid back in, put it back in the fume hood, and we'll drop the gold. Show you that when we get there. Okay, it's all filtered, it's back in the fume hood. Let's see what happens this time. We add the SMB to it. So the color is lightening. That's right. It should lighten before it darkens. Look at that, it's gone clear basically. Like water. And now it's starting to darken. That is a beautiful reaction. Could watch that all day. It means I'm getting gold. And it should be pretty darn clean gold this time around. Alright, cool. Just let that sit and we'll see what settles out. Hopefully I'll be able to do something with it later this afternoon if the weather holds out. Otherwise, once again, it'll be tomorrow morning. These projects are long term. Some of you may not realize how long it takes me to film one of these. It can be weeks, months sometimes to get it all together. Wow, look how dark it's gotten. Very dark gray. Nice. Alright, be back when it settles out. Oh, by the way, I've got the filtered liquid in here with the coil in it. When I poured the liquid in, it stirred up the fine silver powder on the bottom, so it's kind of opaque right now, but it's starting to clear from the top. By tomorrow we should see whether we're getting any more silver. Well, it's the next day, just as I figured it would be the next day before I got around to this. And I need to hurry up and finish this because I got a lot of chores to do around the farm here. I'm going to bring this month-long project to a close and see how much gold we've got. Now, as for the silver, that's a different story. This stuff, I don't know. You know, it went cloudy when I poured the liquid in as soon as it came in contact with the copper. I thought I just stirred up stuff on the bottom, but it stayed cloudy. It's very, very, very slowly clearing from the top. Not very fast. I don't know if any more silver has cemented out. It's kind of like back when I was processing Nix chips. And as soon as I put the copper into the liquid, I got some sort of weird cloudiness formed. So there's some weird chemistry going on in that beaker. I don't know what it is. What I'll probably do is just let this sit a while and then decant off the liquid and see how much silver has accumulated, if any more. I don't know. Because the liquid's opaque. I can't see what's on the bottom of the beaker or what's hanging off the coil. So back to this stuff. I'm going to decant off the bulk of the liquid and start cleaning up the gold, give it some distilled water washes and boils, and then I'll dry it out and weigh it up and see how much we got. Well, there's the gold boiling away happily in some distilled water, cleaning up. I'm going to change the water, give it another boil, and then dry it out. and just weigh it up, and we'll see how much we got. Okay, while we're waiting for the gold to clean up, I'm gonna pour the liquid off this and just see what in the wide world of sports is going on in here. Probably something not good. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, there's the cement silver down there at the bottom. Not a huge amount. I mean, it looks, you know, all fluffy and big when it's wet, but I know that's going to come back down. There's maybe, I don't know, a gram or a little more there, so not a lot of silver. So I'm probably not even going to bother trying to clean that up and weigh it for this video. I'll just get around to cleaning that up later and just add it to my cement silver collection. So once again, we have strange chemistry with trying to recover the silver from some IC chips. Don't know what in the world's going on. Got a little bit, but I think we got some decent gold this time, I think. Okay, so there's our gold after a few boils in distilled water. It looks pretty good, so let me get it dried out so I can get a weight on it, and we'll see how much we got. Alrighty, the gold is all dried out. It's time to find out just how much we got. Let me get my little powder gold repository up here and zero out the scale. Tell you what, that is some good looking gold in there. That's a really nice color. Well, it's been double refined, so a little bit of fine stuff stuck to the side in there. Probably not going to move the scale much more. I want to get it all though. So 2.54 grams, 5.2. It's kind of bouncing around a little bit. I'm outside in the wind. So that's 2.5 times as much gold as I got out of Nick's chips, but I only used 30% more chips. So it's like I said up front, you really need to pick your battle when it comes to getting gold out of IC chips, because some are a lot richer in gold than others. Okay, this is what I was explaining earlier. This is the beaker that gold was just precipitated in and boiled in. See? That's gold. Very fine stuff that's sticking to the inside of the beaker. I always do this to beakers that have powdered gold in them. Whether I precipitate it in the beaker or if I just clean the gold up in the beaker. Because there's always some super fine gold that wants to stick to the inside. So, you know, just a slightly damp piece of paper towel. Now just take this, throw that in with my gold filters, and I'll get all that gold back someday when I process the filters. Nothing gets wasted. Alright, so 2.54 grams. To be perfectly honest, I was hoping for more. Yeah, it's 2.5 times what I got out of Nick's chips, but still. I was hoping for more. It's like I said up front, you really need to pick your battles with IC chips. And you know, I know that large flat packs have a lot of gold in them. I know that Gold Corner BGAs have a lot of gold in them. I know that Broadcom BGAs have a lot of gold in them for the most part. I just had never experienced these flash RAM chips in any large quantity before. So I wanted to try them out and see just how much gold was in them. So now I know. I think I got my money back on them, but really, with all the time and effort that went into it, it probably wasn't worth it. But it was a worthwhile experiment, because now I know the next time I see a big pile of flash RAM chips come on the surplus market, unless I can get them super, super cheap, it's probably not worth it. And even then, I'll probably need to mix them in with some of the higher yielding stuff, just to make it even out and make it all worth the time, the effort, the nitric acid and whatnot to recover the gold out of them. As for silver, once again, we're having strange chemistry with the silver. I am processing the silver that I got out of these, but I'm not going to bother filming it. There's not very much. If I get it done before I'm done editing this video, I'll just put in a total of how much silver I got. I'm not expecting very much. It looks like a lot when it's wet, but I know when it's dry, it's going to be fluffy little powder. Not going to weigh much. Still haven't figured out the strange silver chemistry going on. Sometimes with IC chips, the silver comes out so nice, without drama, and you get a lot of it. Sometimes it's just crazy what goes on when you're trying to recover the silver. It's very weird, and I have to admit, I don't understand all of it yet. Anyway, this project took a little while. I was working on other stuff in parallel, so this wasn't the only thing I was doing. You probably saw a few other beakers in the fume hood from time to time. I'm always running experiments and other projects in parallel, stuff I've done before and already filmed. And, you know, no real point in filming it again. So anyway, I hope you found this video interesting, educational. Killed some time during COVID lockdown. If you're one of those countries deeply locked down like Australia, I'm feeling for you, mate. Sorry. Give the video a thumbs up. Give it a like. Subscribe to see future videos. Always got more going on. And there'll be more videos coming out shortly. And thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.